Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Right, can you see and hear me?
Yes,
All right, perfect. Um, well, uh, uh, I'm just gonna first introduce myself. I will be assisting you in this evening's placement test. I don't know if it's visible, but my name is Ram. Okay, so my name is Teacher Ram. Let me just type it here so that'd be much more clearer. My name is Teacher Ram, and I'll be assisting you in your placement test for this evening. Okay? Can I also please have your name?
my name is Lucy.
All right. If I heard that correctly, you said Losley? Losley?
Lucy.
Lucy. All right. A wonderful name. Well, a pleasure to meet you, Lucy. And again, before we do dive into the topics or the exercise or the test itself, I'm going to give you a short overview of what the placement test will cover. All right. So, are you ready? Are you ready,
Yes,
Lucy? Okay.
yes.
All right. Let me just put your camera here. Is it possible, Lucy, if you can open your camera?
If I open my camera, is the internet very light?
Oh, okay. Well, if that's the case, I completely understand. Either way, I can still hear your voice. So let's just focus at that standpoint then. Okay. All right. So we have 5 parts on the placement test. Okay. So the first part is speaking. Now, for the speaking part of the test, Lucy, it's just a matter of a question and answer. So I'll be asking you random questions. Just imagine you're in a pageant right now. You're a pageant queen about to get the crown, and you just need to answer 5 questions, right? So that's the part of the speaking test. After we finish the speaking test, we have the use of English test, or we'd also like to call it as the vocabulary test. Okay, so for this part of the test, the meaning of the words are provided on the screen as well as the word itself. But the trick there is you need to know what that word is. There are letters already provided to that word, and you need to complete it and give the complete answer. Again, the meaning is just on the opposite side of it. So that's also 5 questions for use of English. After use of English, we have the listening test. For the listening test, I'll be playing an audio file, and I just want you to please listen carefully because I'll only be able to play that audio file once. Now, that audio file will contain the details on how you can answer the questions based on that activity. All right. So that's also 5 questions. Next to that, we have the reading test. Now, for the reading test, it's more focused on your comprehension skills, your skill in understanding topics and how it applies to the question. Now, there are parts there that you only just need to answer true or false. But again, you need to be very careful with the text that's provided there. So those texts are given for you to understand carefully. So just completely understand the text first before you provide your answer for the reading part of the test. Okay, and the last part of the test after we finish reading is writing. Now, for writing, it will measure your understanding in constructing sentences. So you just need the first parts of the test itself will require you to complete a sentence. Okay, and the last part of the test is more on understanding what the proper structure of a sentence is. Just need to correct. You'll just be needing to write the sentence again based on the statement above. Okay, so that is an overview of your test. So let's officially start your test with the speaking test then. So are you ready, Lucy? Okay, so for the speaking test, again, I'll only be able to ask 5 questions and we'll ask it randomly. I do have the dice here. Based on the results of the dice, that'd be the question that I'll be needing to ask you. Okay, can you please click the dice for me, Lucy? All right, so the first number is 5. Okay, so the question there is, why should we learn English? What do you think?
I think learn English is difficult, but it has made lot of things like I can speak with American or US people or lot of people in the world
Yes.
because English is a popular language in the world.
Right.
I chatting playing with other friends in other country.
Right, exactly. Well, to be more precise, English as is considered as a universal language, meaning you may not have the same dialect as your own as your country. Other people's other people of other countries have their own dialect. But one thing's for certain, at one point or the other, they are able to understand English. If they may not be able to speak it, they should be able to understand it. And it is your advantage if you get to learn how to see how to speak and write English. So that's correct. Next, can you please click the dice again, Lucy? All right. Next question is number 3. Okay, for number 3, what do you mainly use the internet for?
I uh, uh, I usually come to the internet for you die pressure. I play game
Hmm.
and chatting with my friend. Mainly in go to my Facebook and
Hmm.
chatting with my friends.
Right.
Call and do homework.
Right, exactly. So, especially if you're a student, those are the 3 main things in using the internet: chatting with friends, or social media. You play games, and as well as doing homework. Good job. So that's number 3. Next question. Can you please click the dice? Oh, still 3. Can you please click it again? All right. This is perhaps the easiest question of them all. So, Lucy, what is your name and how old are you?
My name is Joe and I am 13 years old. I study from Bukta Secondary School. I love my school.
Oh, all right. Secondary school. All right. Thank you so much, Cho, or better yet, Lucy. Yes, Lucy is a great English name. Okay, next. Uh, Next question then. Can you please click the dice again? All right. Next is number 4. So for number 4, is exercise important and why? Why do you think it is?
I think exercise is important because I got a healthy body and I also there also not fat and I and we need to eat lot of vegetables uh,
Right. Mhm.
and do lot of exercise in the morning.
Right, exactly. Exercise is important because it helps for your health. More than anything, it's for your health, right? So eating well and doing well is very important. Okay, we just have one question left, either question number 2 or question number 6. Can you please click the dice for me? Oh, can we click it again, please? All right, so last question is question number 6. So, do you enjoy shopping and how often do you go shopping?
I really love shopping and almost I shopping in Shopee page because in Shopee page is have lot of uh sales and sale because if you go to the shopping mall,
Mhm.
go to the mall if in that summer if usually have sale but in Shopee it have lot of sale. It's very cheap.
Right, exactly. So Shopee is also popular in Vietnam. It's very popular here as well in the Philippines. You're definitely correct. You get a bigger discounts. You get bigger discounts. The dilemma there though is the shipping fee. But Shopee does have many perks or sales going on, so you can waive the shipping fee. Anyways, thank you. Thank you so much, Lucy. So that's the first part of the test, the speaking test. Okay, now we go to the use of English test or the vocabulary test. For this test, you will need to use the, oh, let me just check that out. You will need to use the text box. That's basically the fifth button from the top. So that's the button that has a letter T. You just need to click it and put your answers on the space provided. Like example for number 1, a school to prepare children aged 2 to 5. Now there's already some letters here. You just need to put in the missing letters to complete the word. Or if it's a little hard for you to put it there, you could just type it all together at the top. Right? So that's kind. Okay. Can you tell me what your answer is, Lucy?
I parent
I'm sorry, can you say that again, please?
is kind parent.
Hi, parent.
Yes,
Kind parent. Oh,
yes.
okay. All right. So it's close. It's very close. But the correct answer there is kindergarten. Right. So that's the answer there. Kindergarten. It's like the school that you go to before uh, going through the grade school, right? So it's from ages 2 to 5. Okay. So that's question number 1. Let's now go to question number 2. Um, what's the question, or what do you think is the correct answer for question number 2? Again, you just simply click the letter T and type in your answers here, or you could just fill in the letters that's required. Okay. Yeah, you may continue answering it. What are the missing letters? Library. Yep, that is absolutely correct. Good job. This one is correct. Next, a person who takes care of the sick. What do you think? Yep, that is correct. The answer there is nurse. That's the assistant of the doctor. Okay, so now we go to question number 4. It's a written or spoken examination of a person's knowledge. So that's similar to what we're doing right now. So what do you think is that answer? Right, that is correct. The answer there is test. Good job. So last question, number 5. It's an activity done regularly in one's leisure time for pleasure. What do you think is that? Right. So your answer there is hobby. Although the spelling is incorrect, instead of O, that should be B. That's BYHO. But either way, the idea is there. So I would definitely consider this. All right. So good job. We got 4 out of 5 questions correct. And we're also done with vocabulary. Okay. Next part of the test is the listening test. Okay. As mentioned earlier, Lucy, I will be playing an audio file. And I'd like you to please listen carefully to that audio file because I'll only be able to play it once. Okay. So the questions are provided here. Why didn't it open? Okay, let me just do that again. Okay, here we go. So the questions are provided here. You just simply need to drag them below. So for example, 18, if you think this is the answer, you just put it here as well as the 2 options below. Okay, all right. So are you ready? All right, so again, listen carefully.
If you want to make films, then you'll be interested in our new competition. If you're between 11 and 18, you can enter this year's filmmaking competition. The film should last no more than 12 minutes.
All right, so based on the information that you had heard, what do you think is the correct answer there?
Teacher,
Yes,
I took the I text the the word, but it don't
it doesn't
in
move.
the screen. Yes,
Oh, okay.
we
Here's what we
that
can do then. You can just tell me what your answer is, and I'll be the one to move it for you. Like example, for number 1, what do you think is what is your answer there?
teacher. In the first time I texted and uh now I can remember the answer.
Oh, all right. Can you just make a guess then? Because if I were to play the audio file again, however, your answer might no longer be valid. That's why I always mentioned earlier that it is very important that you listen carefully on the first instance, since I'll only be able to play it once. But either way, can
I
you make a guess?
I think number two is 11 and number three is 18
All right, good job. Okay,
and number one is 80.
80. Okay. Guess what? You are very, very close. Number 2 and number 3 are correct. 11 to 18. And number 1, though, it's the answer there is actually 12, right? So it's 12. So even though you did not remember, you are very close to answering all the questions correct. So it's still a good job at my end, I would say for you. Okay, but the questions are not finished yet. We have 2 more questions. Let me just play it out. Are you ready? Are you ready, Lucy? Okay, so for this part, you'd only need to answer true or false. Okay?
The judges this year are Martha Fernando, presenter of our film programme Film World and author of a book about careers in filmmaking called Film Life, and the director Mark Matthews, whose latest film Night is now in cinemas.
Okay, so what do you think is the answer for number 4? Is it
Number four is true, number five is false.
yes, that's correct. Good job. So this is true and this is false. Okay, so for the vocabulary or the use of English part, you were actually or my mistake, listening part. So the listening part of the test, you scored 4 out of 5. So it's almost perfect. Okay, let's now go to the other part of the test. You just simply need to tick or to check which you think is the correct answer. So read the notice and tick the correct answer. So the notice is Class C, no geography class today. Teacher is sick. So among the options here, which do you think is correct? You could just use the paintbrush and just highlight the correct answer or your correct answer. Options are these students do not have lesson today, these students are in the room today, or these students' teachers is teaching geography. All right. So, yep, that is correct. Good job. Next, turn off all mobiles during the lesson. So we have 3 options here. What do you think is correct? Right, options here. There. Okay, there we go. Yep, that is also correct. Awesome. So the first two answers for the reading test are correct. Good job, Lucy. Okay, next. This is you'd only need to answer true or false here, but you need to read the text carefully. All right? So after you finished reading, you can just tell me right away, or you could proceed with answering true or false. If it's a little hard for you to type in the exact words or the exact spelling of the words, you could just simply put T for true or F for false. Okay? All right. So whenever you're ready, Lucy, you may now start reading. All right. Just tell me if you are done so we can double check your answers with, right? Again, please be very careful of the subtle details of the text because some parts there are a little confusing. All right. So you've already answered uh, 3. Oh, so what's your final answer for number 3? Is that a true or a false?
Is false.
Okay, false. All right. Okay, so that just leaves number 3 and number 4. All right, so 2 answers are in. Just 1 answer left, number 4. By the way, this is correct. This one is correct as well as this one. All right, so I think you have all of your answers set. You are correct. Number 4 is true. So false, they're both hunters and fishermen. This is true. Build village, boats, and yep, this is correct. And the last one is false. The civilization of ancient Egypt started at 3000 BC. So the kingdom that was ruled by the king was already around 3100. So 100 years had passed. So yeah, those are all correct. Okay, so we're done with the reading test. Let's now go with the writing test. So for this part, I think you have a bit of a problem in dragging and dropping all the options. So instead of doing that, you could just tell me your answer and I'll be the one to drag it down for you. Okay, just need to complete. Oh, there you go. I think you can do it. Okay, yeah, you can just put the words on the blank provided to come up with the correct sentence. All right, so the first one is correct. Oh, that's too long. It's very close, but is that your final answer? Is that your final answer?
Wait for me a sec.
Okay, sure. Actually, everything is close. You just need to look for the exact words to put it on. All right, so we do have 2 minutes left and we still got 3 questions to finish the writing test. All right, is that your final answer?
I think
I'm sorry?
yes.
Okay. Um, that's actually incorrect, but you only just needed to move just one word. Should be here. There. So the sentence there, your answers are actually very close. It takes Ivan 1 hour to do the test. But either way, you are very close. Okay, so let's now go with the last part of the test. We don't really have time left, but I'll try to cover for it. Okay, so you just need to use the words to write the sentence with the same meaning. So the sentence above is my hobbies are swimming and cooking in the free time. You need to use this word and create a new sentence with the same meaning as the sentence above. All right? If you want, so that it'll be much more easier for you, you can type it in the chat box here for number
Is
one.
rewrite sentence.
I'm sorry, can you say that again, please?
Is rewrite sentence.
Yes, rewrite the sentence, correct. You can put your answer here on the chat box, so it'll be much more easier for you. Hello? Are you still there? Hello, Lucy. Are you still there? Are you answering it?
Yes, I then type the answer.
Okay, sure. Yeah, because our time is already up. But yeah, let's try to finish everything. I'm going to extend a little bit more so we can finish the placement test. All right, that is correct. Number 5 is correct. Judy is the tallest in this school. All right, so for your answer on the number 2 question, it's very close, but that is incorrect. So the correct answer there should be neither Miss Anna nor Mr. James is a doctor. So the word neither is already considered not. Any one of them is not a doctor. So you could say neither Miss Anna nor Mr. James is a doctor. Okay, next. Number 1. Uh yeah, you need to use this word interested in. So instead of my hobbies, what do you think are the changes that we need to do? All right. That's also close, but unfortunately, that is incorrect, though. The correct answer is I'm interested in swimming and cooking in my free time. Right? So that should be the answer there. But anyways, you don't need to worry though, Lucy, because you still answered 2 out of 3. And might I say, you were able to answer a perfect score on the other questions. So I wouldn't really say you did a bad job. You did very well, extremely well. But of course, there are just some things that you need to improve. Now, what will happen next here is I will be evaluating the scores and as well as providing comments on your strengths and weaknesses on this placement test. And I'd want you to please contact our admin team tomorrow. I will be providing you a recommendation of a book that you may want to use to improve your skills on regular classes. That is, if you proceed or if you want to proceed to regular classes. Hopefully you would, and hopefully I also get to teach you in regular classes. Although you have complete freedom on who's the teacher you'd want to have on your regular classes. But anyways, that pretty much sums up our lesson or your placement test for this evening. We extended for a little bit, but I definitely think it's all worth it since you give 101% effort with your answers this evening. Okay, so again, thank you so much for your time, Lucy. Hopefully, I get to see you in the future in regular classes. And you did an awesome job tonight. Okay, have a wonderful night, Lucy, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye bye. Good night.
Goodbye, teacher.
Goodbye.